You're about to listen to your favorite podcast, Ghost Binkers, but during the intro you realize that it's not starting the way it normally does. This time, it's uncomfortably meta. That's because this episode isn't like the others. We've interviewed a paranormal specialist, so the format is a little different this episode. For our junior Binkers, a little heavier on the ghost stories and theory. And we finally got some answers to our ghoulish questions. This is the Jennifer Shortridge interview. Welcome to Ghost Binkers. Pause for dramatic effect.
Hello, junior and senior Binkers. I'm Trev, and I want to believe in ghosts oh so badly. And with me is my co-host and buddy, Killian. Hello, Killian.
Hey.
Together, we are the Ghost Binkers, and we explore real-life spooky stories and joke the spooky credibility out of them. A light binking, so to speak. And today, we have a guest Binker with us, Jennifer Shortridge, who is a ghost hunter, podcast host, and author of multiple books on the paranormal. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer. Just so our Bink Squad can understand who you are and where you're coming from, what level of belief in the paranormal would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being full belief?
All right. Well, hi, everybody. Thanks, Killian. Thanks, Trav, for having me on. I really appreciate you guys having me on your podcast.
Yeah.
I love being on other people's podcasts, and, hopefully we can return the favor and have you on mine.
Would love to.
I would say I'm at like a 9.635 on the belief scale, only because I've had my own experiences. Now, believe me, I'm skeptical about a lot of things. There's many things that I've seen and experienced, being in this field, but I've had some really weird, strange, unusual things happen to me. So I could tell you about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Killian was getting ready to say that they love the
granularity of your rating scale. It's so precise. It's like a seismic instrument. It's exactly calibrated.
This is really exciting for us because you definitely are the highest ranking believer that we have had on the show. And we've been really looking forward to speaking to someone who has a lot of experience in the paranormal field. And I personally would consider you an expert in the paranormal, but would you consider yourself an expert?
Not at all. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the game for, I've been ghost hunting for like 25 years. Been podcasting for 10 years. I don't think anybody can, without damaging some people's egos, call themselves experts. You're always learning. Every time I have a podcast guest on, or I go to an event, or I'm at a haunted location, I learn something new every time. So, for people to call themselves whatever ologists, I just want to punch them. I do.
I feel like you're like all
Can I cuss on this podcast?
Oh yeah, please do. It'll make me feel more
Because
comfortable.
I don't cuss on mine, but I
better.
sure want to cuss on yours. Okay.
I feel like you're like all shucksing us a little bit, and you're gonna be like, anyway, here's the ghost of Harry Houdini. I have him trapped behind me. I'm not an expert. I've entombed him permanently.
The boyfriend's passed.
Yeah,
They're all locked here in the house. I have them hidden in my fireplace behind me.
So you mentioned paranormal egos, and I feel like I have some opinions on some paranormal egos, and I was wondering if there was anyone in particular. If you want to spill that tea, or if you want to keep it vague, it's totally up to you. But could you just tell me a little bit more about what you mean by egos?
Sure. Okay. So, I've been to probably 500 different paranormal conventions as a vendor, as a speaker. And I've ran into everybody who's ever been on a ghost show, from Zach to...
I was gonna say, give me Zach Baggins.
The Ghost Brothers. I ghost hunted with Zach Baggins. He was a trip. I'll tell you more about that later. But I gotta tell you, I've never met so many people, and not even people who are famous, just people who have groups that think they are the cats, meow, and they're really cat pee-pee.
Cat piss for all of our Binkers.
I've run into people who, and I'll tell you, you guys can guess. I'll take you a while. this one. So he's an older gentleman who claims to be a psychic medium, who I was a great fan of. And I thought he was great. I met him. Don't ever meet your heroes.
Yeah.
They disappoint you. So I was at Michigan Paracon, and it's one of the largest paranormal conventions. I don't know if you guys have ever been there.
It's on our list to get out to a convention at some point.
Definitely one that I'm at.
Yeah.
So we can, hang out and have a couple brouhahas, adult beverages. And so I was so excited to meet this person, and he's a guy who wears scarves, if that will give you any hint.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
This is your podcast Ghost and editor Trev here. For this story, I'm going to guess that Jennifer is talking about chip coffee. However, I could be wrong, and for legal reasons, this is a randomly chosen name of items that can be found in the household pantry.
I was so excited to meet him, and he was standing with a bunch of other celebrities, air quotes, for those who are just listening. And I was like, hi.
Chip coffee?
And he just looked at me up and down like I was the,
he was above you or something.
And he shoved my shoulder and walked past me.
Wow.
I'm like, so don't ever meet you here.
What is it? What is it with rude men and scarves? Steven Tyler, when do scarves come into the equation? Do you think they're rude first, or do you think the scarves corrupt your mind like a parasite?
They strangle all the oxygen out of him, and then they think
he's really nice. It's just his neck is so hot from the heat from the scarves trapping it.
So I was very disappointed because I truly was. Like, I had been on a ghost hunt with this person, it was 10 years prior. And he was very nice, but once the fame comes in, then the ego comes in.
It started big time in you.
People who, if we want to talk about ego, anybody who has an orb picture thinks they're the cat. I've solved the mystery of the ghosts.
Where
I'm a demonologist.
Where are you on orbs? I find orbs are one of the ones that people like. Even believers tend to give up on orbs very quickly.
Yeah, it's
which
divisive.
I sort of appreciate.
Well, I'm going to say, and I'm going to upset people, but I don't care. 99.999 and 3/7 pictures are just dust or lens flare or flash or something.
Preach, Jennifer.
I have seen and witnessed real orbs in my vision in ghost hunting. So Gettysburg Battlefield, I saw a bluish gray orb, and I have a picture of it. And at that time, the cell phone technology wasn't that great. It had just come out. Our cameras weren't great on our little flip phones, but I saw it with my eyes in the battlefield. It almost looked like a tiny ball lightning. Okay. So, not everything's an orb. People don't understand how the shutters work in these modern phones. So it's going to reflect any dust or bug or whatever.
It's funny that you mention the way cameras work, because that is something that we talk about a lot. My career is in videography and photography. So a lot of times I am trying to explain why the orb looks the way it does. And so I think it's great that you also feel that way, because I have so much respect for people who believe in the paranormal, but who are also willing to police the false beliefs.
Yeah. I've never taken a good picture, and I sneeze all the time. So I'm constantly surrounded by orbs and blurry photographs. It's just my entire life.
So
the sleeves green. Yeah, I get it.
How did you become interested in the paranormal? Did you have an experience first and then get interested in it, or did you become interested some other way and start looking for it?
Well, when I was little, 4 or 5 years old, my dad had a UFO experience when he was a young man. He was 24, 25 years old. And he always had this love of mystery, and he would take us to the library. We would actually check out books. This was before the internet, kids. But, we always had just read a lot about Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. And there was 3 ghost books in our library, and that was it. And I would read them all, or, I would go through encyclopedias and look up the weird stuff like ghosts, Bigfoot, cryptids and stuff. But, my dad always watched that show In Search of with Leonard Nimoy, and that was like really fascinating to me. And then Unsolved Mysteries. And I had one time when I lived at my mom and dad's house, and I was probably a teenager, probably like, 13, 14, 15, and heard my name called. Clear as day, and I ran downstairs and nobody was there. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Looking back in those tiny little things. And when I was very young, we would always, because we had this huge family, and people would die in the family, and everybody would take their kids to the funeral home, right? And there'd be like all the cousins, and I would always be fascinated by the funeral homes. I'd be like looking at the ghost, looking at the corpse, like poking at them, like, why aren't you awake? And but I was really feeling weird. I was a weird kid, still weird, 54 and still weird. But I would always just get really interested in like going in rooms in the funeral home by myself, because I always felt things, and like it felt like I was about to see a ghost all the time. So growing up, still had that love of like ghosts and ghost hunting. And when I turned 29, I decided I didn't want to live in Toledo anymore. I was like, this place is boring. I'm not going anywhere. There's nothing going on. So I just like packed my shit and went to Los Angeles. And so when I was out there, I had a couple weird ghostly experiences, which was like really bizarre. So one, I lived on Beechwood, which is the street where the Hollywood sign is. And one of the rumors was that Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, who was murdered in Los Angeles, lived on that street at one time. And if you walked up and down the street, you would smell flowers, because she always wore gardenia perfume or something like that. I don't know the whole story, but I had that experience. I was walking up and there was no flowers around, and I smelled that, and I felt like there was a woman behind me. I looked behind me and then nobody was there. And then I had a friend. So I worked downtown Hollywood. I had this tiny little apartment that had cockroaches the size of wiener dogs in it, like it was super expensive. I could barely make my rent. But I worked in the Disney building across the street on Hollywood Boulevard in the El Capitan Theater, which was rumored to be haunted. And the Roosevelt Hotel was next door. And, famously people have seen Marilyn Monroe's ghost in there. So I was working with this girl who had inherited her grandparents' Hollywood. It was the Hollywood Art School. So it was the birth of art in Los Angeles. So like Walt Disney, Salvador Dali, artists like Clark Gable, they all went to this compound. It was like a big mansion, but old, like an old, like Spanish style mansion with outbuildings where they had art classes. And I was there with her one time, and it was so cool. She had like these outbuildings, and like we started going through the papers, and there was like original Donald Duck drawings in there and stuff.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I was just like,
that's rad.
But anyways, we had a ghost experience at that place. So we were in her house one day, and it had like a veranda with like the doors open, and there was like a back like cement porch, and it was right on the hill in like the Hollywood Bowl was on the other side of the hill. And we were out there one time because I was just helping her clean up. We were going to have a party, and there were glowing eyes coming out of the hills, red eyes. And I know enough that coyotes have, like light colored eye shine.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of coyotes out there, but this wasn't it. And we were I was so freaked out. I was like, we got to shut the doors. We got to get in the house. So I moved back to Toledo. When I came back 2 years later, I really was into this like thought of ghost hunting. And then in 2009, like the ghost shows, maybe 2008, 2009, the ghost shows started coming out. And I really got into it, because it was like cool and new and on screen. So I started going to haunted locations. The first place I ever went to was Mansfield Prison, where I saw a full body apparition of a prisoner. And I almost bumped into him. It was so crazy.
Did you open the doors up for him? Give him something.
Scared me so much. So like
Do him a solid. He's been in there for 100 years.
He looked like a person, and he just disappeared in front of me. So I was coming down the stairs, and the group I was with was like a couple flights down, and I was just going around, and I turned the corner, and you know how you go to bump into somebody and you go like that? Mm-hmm. And there was a man standing in front of me, and he had a white short sleeve shirt on, blue pants, a belt, like a 50s style haircut, and like the horn rimmed glasses, and he was just like 6 foot tall, and he was just standing there. I went, and he just disappeared in front of my eyes. I was like,
so when you say he disappeared, because I've had a couple of experience that I would like shadow people when I was a kid, but when you say he disappeared, was it like a fade out, or did he like literally he was just there and then he was just immediately gone?
It was just a blink out. He was like there and then click and he was gone.
I think that's cooler.
Like,
yeah, the slow fade is a little dramatic, but the disappear is like,
if I was making a movie, I'd do a blink out.
Yeah. And then so I got really into it, and I started going to ghost hunts and haunted locations, and it just really turned into this thing. And then 10 years ago, my brother was really into podcasts, and it was kind of new at that time, and I'm like, I don't know what a podcast is, and he's like, well, you're doing all this ghost hunting, and I'm really into podcasts. Let's do a podcast about ghost hunting. I'm like, okay. I didn't know what I was doing. You learn as you go, right?
I did. I listened to a couple of your episodes, and I first off, I enjoyed the conversations, and your brother seems like a really techie guy. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was getting tech nerd vibes from him, and I can relate.
Yeah, he's the tech. I'm the entertainment.
That's kind of what we do.
It's our move too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just grew from there, and like we've been to like haunted prisons and jails and hotels and 1.5 million cemeteries. I'm not kidding you, but one of the most haunted places I've ever been to, I'm in right now, is my house.
Oh.
And you might see something. I don't know.
Are you content farming at home right now? Is that what's happening? You're just like setting up cameras and waiting for stuff to happen. Right at the epicenter.
I tell you. I just had something happen like 3 nights ago. I was laying in bed, and you know how you get in that space where you're fighting not to fall asleep, but you're falling asleep, and you got your phone like this, and you're like, don't let it fall on my face.
Yes.
And I didn't have it on. It was on the nightstand, and I heard a man's voice like going, hey. And I was like, what the frick? And it scares me because I live alone, and I live in the ghetto.
I'd be scared too.
And so I thought somebody was in my house. That's how loud it was. And this isn't the second time that I've heard this. So heart was racing. I was frozen. And it usually doesn't scare me. I mean, I've seen full body apparitions in this house. And to hear that, and then I thought, okay, TV came on, or maybe I left my phone on with a video playing or something. So I grabbed the phone, wasn't there. And my heart was like beating really fast. So I went up, I got this big flashlight because I was like, I'm going to bonk him in the head if they're in my house. Or kidnap him.
My strategy, I feel like my strategy is to blanket over the head and pretend I didn't hear anything.
No, I mean, normally I'm just like, I hear things because there's people in the neighborhood and there's a bar down the street, you hear people. But it was snowing really hard. And snow deafens the sounds, right?
Yeah.
And so I go outside, or I look out all the windows. There's no prints in the snow. So I thought, maybe it was the neighbor guy. Sometimes he stands at the end of the driveway and he stares at me. There was nothing. And that scared me even more because I didn't know what the heck happened. And I was like, okay, that is weird. But that's the second time that I've heard a man's voice in the house.
I have a question because you mentioned going to tons of different kinds of places. Is there a kind of place where you're like, the haunts are like dog shit here? Every time I go to a haunted pool house, there's no ghost. Is there a kind of place that you feel like is way less active than its reputation?
I think some of the historic mansions, I'll say, like the historical societies, I never really find much activity at those. Everybody's like, oh, it's full of old trinkets and books and maps and objects, but I don't find like the ghosts are there.
We've done, we did like a month worth of mansion episodes, and I have found that those stories are a lot less compelling than some of the other ones that we've gone over. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of correlation there.
Well, all that stuff is like, it's like town hall meetings. Can't be that interesting to the ghosts to come back to, They're like, oh, where's my old map?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
But there, some of the locations that surprised me too, like I wasn't expecting to have so much activity in some of the cemeteries I've went to, because generally you don't think people are going to hang out at the cemetery. They're going to be with their loved ones or wherever they are, and sometimes I feel like they can come and go. Like I've seen my dad here in my house. He's not here all the time. I saw my boyfriend who died. He wasn't here. I don't see him anymore. I think they come when you call them, but why would they want to hang out in a cemetery where nobody's at 99% of the time?
I have to imagine maybe like a cemetery could be maybe like a ghost nightclub or something.
I was going to say
that's where they all hang out, but we can't see them unless they want us to.
There's a street near where I live where there's like 6 strip clubs on the street, and we drive by the strip clubs. My wife is always fascinated by them, and I've never been to one, and she's always like, "Why are people here on like 1:50 on a Tuesday at the strip club?" And I was like, maybe the vibe is really good. I've never been in one at 1:50 on a Tuesday. Maybe it like rocks in there. Maybe like nighttime cemetery is like a really chill time for ghosts. They're like, no, the weather's great. All the other ghosts are out. It's like super awesome.
I don't know. It's weird because, I don't know if you know much about what happens in Ohio, but we have many different. I beg to differ.
I know. I mean, I know about the Bengals. I know.
We don't know.
I know what proliferates out. I'm dumb and don't get around much.
No, so like Ohio just has such a deep, deep haunted history. We have every type of thing here. We have ghosts, Bigfoot, dogmen, UFO activity, elementals, cryptids, like just crazy stuff that is here. We have a deep, 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 deep Native American history here, and Ohio had over 12,000 mounds, Native American mounds, which were generally burial mounds, but some of them predate the Native Americans. So the Native Americans would build upon the mounds that were already there. Most of those had rumored to have giant skeletons in them, and we have a lot of historical like newspaper things on people finding giant skeletons in Ohio, some right here in Toledo, a couple by the Yacht Club, which is out right on Lake Erie, a couple on the Maumee River, which was part of the Great Black Swamp, which the Native Americans wouldn't go into. It was bad spirits, they called it. It was most likely swamp gas that probably killed people if they went in there, or mosquito borne, that kind of thing.
Bridgewater has a similar swamp where they think it might just be like some gas that you don't want to be around for very long and stuff like that. Also, like I feel like the name of the Great Black Swamp, when I picture it in my head, it's like dripping and oozing black, and then you probably go there and it probably looks nice. It's probably like pretty water and stuff, but it's in my mind it's like very horrifying. I did a swamp tour in Louisiana. And the whole time I was like swamp, and I was like, it's going to be green and oozy. And I got there and I was like, oh, I could fish here. I wouldn't because the alligators would terrify me. But like theoretically you could, like, it's just nice water kind of, it looks pretty. So I need to like become smarter about how I think about swamps. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think when I hear swamp, I'm almost thinking of like a tar pit, which is kind of a problem.
I do too. Yeah. Well, and that's what it was. It was very just bleh. And we still have a little bit left, but most of it's been developed.
I play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and a swamp is one of the cards you play, and they are like spooky skeleton summoning swamps. It's like they're very scary,
So Jennifer, we got into a little bit of your haunted house experience. We talked about your podcast, but I did want to just touch on your books really quick.
Okay, cool.
So I read some excerpts from some of your books, and I did buy 2 of your books that I still
Thank you.
I have to read.
Happy meals for everybody.
I have to get through them, but I did read some excerpts that stuck out to me, and I appreciated that you kind of explained some of the pitfalls that people might fall into about like, oh, you think that's a ghost, but it's really this. I really like that because it's like,
thank you.
Here you thought you saw this, but it's really just what you're experiencing and the emotions you're feeling at the time manifesting as something visual or even feeling wise. So I again appreciate that you can still hold these beliefs of the paranormal, but it's not the very first thing that you go to. You check off like the checklist of real world stuff first and then go to the paranormal, and I just appreciate that.
When you've ruled out all the possible, then only the impossible can remain, right? It's like the sort of benchmark quote for that of understanding, like, okay, have I actually done my work to make sure nothing is here? Sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah. No, it's just, I wrote that because I have, sometimes I have bouts of severe anxiety. And so when I go into a haunted location, I have to step back and say, okay, is this because, my anxiety is coming through because I'm in an unknown place, I don't know who's in here, or is this truly because I'm feeling or sensing a spirit? So it's a fine line. You have to, even like, say when you're doing a investigation, somebody calls you to their apartment because they are having weird experiences. You got to go in and you got to say, okay, first of all, do you have any mental health issues? Do you have a gas leak?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I always try to rule out everything else because you don't want to go in and waste your time with somebody's having anxiety,
right,
like I do, or schizophrenia, or is on drugs, or has, like the natural gas or high EMF is distorting what they think they're seeing, and I don't want to go in and tell somebody, yes, you're having an experience. And then, and sadly, this happened many years ago, but it did happen. There was a ghost hunter here in town who told the person that, they were experiencing something demonic, and that person tragically was so scared of what the ghost hunter told them, she jumped off a parking garage.
Oh,
yikes.
Wow. Yeah.
That's gross. That's bad.
Yeah. But I also, we also had people who, and this is a true story, had told somebody that they found a demon in their house, put it in their trunk, and drove to the grocery store parking lot and opened the trunk and released it.
Like my dad does with raccoons he finds in his garden.
Exactly.
They straight up groundhog style. Just threw him in the woods behind the market basket that my dad goes to.
I appreciate the sentiment of rounding up the demon and getting it out of the house. I think it's a little irresponsible to just set it free in a parking lot.
I love the idea of like I'm coming back with my frozen pizzas.
Why would you even tell anybody
he's just
that?
in
right?
the middle of my.
Why would you even there? Demonologist.
we talk a little bit because we went to the East Bay Penitentiary, right? Is what it's called.
Eastern
State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. We were there having fun, but we went to there and we were in there during the day, so I was definitely not expecting any like full body demons to come out and demand I free Al Capone or whatever. But while we were there, the whole time I was like, oh, this is such a strange shaped building. Like this building is so weird. It's got all these hallways. Like I could totally see how even if you're already scared, the structure of this is so not something you're used to in your daily life. You're going to think you're seeing stuff popping out of everywhere because there's like a hole every 10 feet. There's like, it's just such a weird, if you're already scared. And two, we've read a story where the person was clearly just terrified going in. And I was like, you were never gonna get out of this house without seeing a ghost. You were like so scared immediately.
Yeah. We went to St. Joseph's Hospital in Lorain, Ohio. So this is outside of Cleveland. You could actually see Lake Erie from the hospital. And we were the last people to go in there, investigate, because they were tearing it down. And it was a huge complex. And there were things in there, like there was a boiler room that you could walk in and there was just a short like metal railing like this, but it was so dark in there. And it had like 6 to 8 feet of water. And it was so clear that if you weren't watching your step, you could have tripped over this railing and fallen in that water. Nobody would have ever found you if you were by yourself. Like you're saying about, holes in the ground. We went to one place that was completely, and they were charging people to get in here completely full of white mold.
Oh yeah.
Like in there had been a fire. Part of the floor was like falling apart, and the basement was full of mold. I mean, like, you're scared of the dark and you're scared of ghosts, but you should be scared of the places that you're going into.
Yeah, it happens a lot too with like abandoned
off.
hospitals and stuff. There'll be like people exploring abandoned hospitals. I'm like, hey, like I actually think the reason the police don't want you in there is because the structure is not super safe anymore of this place. Like,
right?
Like this wing is all messed up from fire damage or something. You shouldn't be like running around in there.
Yeah, and homeless people too. Like, we at that same hospital, one of the doors was open, and homeless people had gotten in there at one point. And you don't know where these people are. And most homeless people carry weapons. So, like, if you're coming through and they don't know you're there, they could rob you, they could kill you, whatever,
At the minimum, they could think you were there to get rid of it, like to make them leave, or, they could just get freaked out because they're also like trying to sleep and not used to having someone running around.
Place.
Yeah. It's a. No, I mean, that's something like, if we talk about ever doing an investigation, I'm like, I want to do it somewhere where like I'm physically safe from like actual dangers of the natural world,
Yeah. But then on the other hand, like I went to Mansfield Penitentiary in West Virginia, and there's a place in the basement, and it's been on a couple of the ghost shows. It's called the Sugar Shack. So it's basically a dirt floor basement. Some of it's cemented, but some of it's dirt floor. And what they would do for years, and from early on in the early century, they would put the prisoners down there, and there was such a shortage of guards. They would just lock everybody in there, and it was a complete free for all, right?
Oh my God.
You can imagine anything goes in there.
The criminal justice system was so good back then. We were so great at handling things.
You can't see your hand in front of your face. That's how dark it is down there.
God.
And so like I was so frightened down there, and there was maybe 4 ghost hunters in there at the time. I felt like things were coming up right in my face. Could it be just your fear, working overtime? Yeah, sure. But after I left there for 2 weeks, I couldn't function. I was not myself. I'm like a happily bubbly person, I like to write my books and drink some wine and eat chips, whatever. But so anyway, so I went to this is so weird. So I went to this paranormal convention, and I was just like, call my brother in the middle of the night. I'm so angry. I don't know what's wrong with me. So we go to this convention, and this Native American shaman walks up, and I never met him. Don't know who he was. He doesn't know who I am. And he looks at me and he's like, you have an attachment and I can take it away. I'm like, please do. So he did this thing, and I'm telling you, it was like a light switch. I just felt like myself again. It was the most bizarre thing.
Did he charge you after?
No.
Was he like, hey, $80, come on. You know how good that was? You're not attached anymore.
Him, honestly, because like I didn't want to feel like that.
Right. Someone's got to show him Venmo. Get it, get him
right?
making some money off this.
Long before Venmo. But it's just weird. So I want to ask you guys, I need your guys' opinion on something, because I think about this a lot. So 10 years ago, maybe, I went down to New Orleans. So we went down to the lower 9th Ward, and it was very, very haunting. I'm telling you, like the feeling you get when you go to Gettysburg, you feel the history, right?
Like heaviness.
But I was thinking about it, like if something comes through like that, like a huge, flooding where a haunted building with supposedly, spirits inside or ghosts or whatever you want to call them, gets washed away into the ocean. Where do the spirits go?
We have.
This is the kind of question I propose is a bit often.
we have kind of tried to discuss this in the past.
We talked about the Great Chicago Fire, which people were saying, created a lot of ghosts. But then they like paved over the graveyards and put the zoo there. And so people were like, oh, the ghosts are still around. And I was like, if I was the ghost, I would like leave. I'd do something else. I'd be like, all right, you don't want me around here if you're going to pave over. I don't know, because, I never have an idea of how much the like physical world could affect a ghost, because it never seems quite clear to me. So I would like to imagine that in my world, ghosts are free form. If they're going to exist, if I'm a ghost, I'm going anywhere. China, I'm checking out Shanghai because the traffic's not going to bother me. Right. I can walk through it. So I would like to imagine
club at 1:10 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm like, it's great here. This is awesome. They have eggs, scrambled eggs. But I would like to say that they can move freely. So they don't get pushed around. They just like I assume the water washes past him. And like, damn, that's crazy. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
It sucks for whoever is alive over here. I have a few theories on how ghosts operate in like the veil between the worlds. I haven't really landed on any of them just yet. Which maybe you will help us with our ghoulish questions after this. So I think that there's a couple of possibilities. One would be that some ghosts might be kind of like a time loop where like they're just kind of reenacting their life as it was when they were alive, in which case they would be completely unfazed. Like perfect example is like in the Lizzie Borden house, you'll see like someone trying to make the bed or something like that. If that happened there, they would still just be making the bed, but now it'd be in like a flooded area or something. Or if they're like sentient or something, I guess they would just kind of move onto land or something like that, or spectral drift would push them onto land.
Yeah, I get so caught up in the logistics of it. Like if I hear about a ghost who wants to make the bed, all I can think about is like putting 3 sets of blankets on the bed and just trapping them. Like they're just trying to make double the bed. They thought like every time they try to make the bed, there's more bed to make under it. Just messing. I would just want to see. I want to see what happens if one of the ghosts gets so mad at me, it kills me.
Do you have a theory?
You make a blanket fort and keep them in there, right?
Do you have a theory on like how that would happen?
I don't know. I thought my feeling when I was there was that they would be swept out with the actual physical building. But then I thought, well, maybe they just go to the next structure or, where, like that or
Katrina. I wonder if you just get pushed. But then my worry is like, oh my God, a big flood makes me have to live in Connecticut. Oh, I'm a ghost in Connecticut now because of Massachusetts flooding. I want to have a little more agency over it than that.
I just wondered if they were like wandering that field where the school was, or
they can wander, they can move on.
They go to where the energy is. So like maybe somebody's still living in their house and they see the energy of a living person. So they just gravitate over there. I don't know. It's just like, it kind of makes me sad in a way. I'm like,
no. And
I think ghosts are sad. I think if ghosts are out there, that's kind of a bummer. That's to be a ghost. I wouldn't love to be a ghost based on kind of all the descriptions of what ghosts are up to. I kind of want to do other stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't wait, man. I am gonna mess with some people.
My mother is really excited to. She says, "Come back and visit me," which is haunting. She wants to haunt me, I guess. And so I assume she's gonna like write me messages, and hopefully she'll like keep making.
Like, Mom, I'm at the strip club and they had Tuesday.
Still going, Mom, get out of my room.
Me and my mom at Silhouettes on 215 on a Tuesday,
I love like the theoretical questions about ghosts because like they are things that we probably never will be able to answer, but it is really interesting to think about how those work. And I think that's a good chance for us to get into our ghoulish questions.
And now, Junior and Senior Binkers, for the first of what we hope will be many, it's time for the Ghoulish Questions. The questions we've collected over the course of this podcast for any ghost believer brave enough to come on this show. Let's get started. Jennifer Shortridge, come on down. What do people mean when they say ghost light?
Do you feel like you see it with your eyes, or do you feel like you see it the way you like imagine an apple in your head if you had to think of one? You know what I mean? Like
I think it's visual. Like I think you're seeing it. It's some kind of
optic nerve,
energy pulse. Yeah, because a lot of times people say, and I even see it here in the house, is you see things out of your peripheral vision. Mm-hmm. I can't say that word.
It's a tough word. I'm not saying it on the podcast. I don't take risks like that.
The amount of words I stumble over on this show is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're a pro. I gotta play. I gotta play conservative. I'm doing the 10-yard check down. I'm saying side of my eye, side of my vision. I can't say peripheral.
I don't know. I have always just gone by with what I've seen.
Yeah.
So then a camera could see it.
Visual.
If you saw something, you'd think if you had a camera pointed at it, it would see it too.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you think ghosts can physically harm a person?
I have 2 theories about this. Ghosts, I feel like ghosts are not harmful. I think there's darker things that are harmful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. My friend and I, she's much more intuitive than I am. But anyway, so there was this young brother and sister, lived in an apartment. They were scared because they kept seeing things in the apartments, shadows, things would be moving, candles would fly across this. The father lived in another country. The son and the daughter came from the other country to get away from the father. He was a priest in Santeria. Mm. In that religion, the firstborn male son is supposed to follow the father's footsteps. This young man didn't want to do that, so he came to America. I could never do that. It was kind of sad. Like, they were generally frightened because of what was happening. So they think that the father was doing some kind of ritual back in the home country. So my friend and I go there because she will try to help expel whatever's in there. And so we go in there, and she's, tell him to get out, and, this, that, and the other. And she's like, if you're real, then you'll scratch me.
Challenge.
And nothing happened. Mm. It was getting really intense. I was like, we need to take a break. I got to get out of this apartment for a second. So we go outside. She's got her phone in one hand and a cigarette in the other. And she's like, my back is burning. And I whipped her shirt up, and she had a scratch from from her shoulder down to her hip, a deep scratch.
I'd be gone.
So I think, yes.
That
it was scary. I was like, holy! I'd never seen anything like that.
That father didn't want to maybe do that to like Osama bin Laden or somebody. That man's out there after 9/11, and no one ever scratched his back with a demon.
I love a good back scratch.
I was gonna say my dad would love this wicked spell. He'd be like happy in his easy chair getting scratched.
That's a level of power that I don't want for ghosts.
Well, yeah, that was scary. So, I don't know necessarily that ghosts do that. I think ghosts are just people who die. They just want to be in the house. Uncle Charlie wants to sit in his rocking chair.
The old lady needs to move the creamer back.
I think there are darker things out there that can be conjured up or lurk in, certain situations.
Yeah. I do. I maybe need to take the world more seriously, but now I'm like, I got to learn to conjure a little bit. I got to start getting the evil on my side. I've watched too many anime television shows where people can summon like little demon dogs to fight for them, and that sounds very cool to me to wield that power, which is irresponsible. I know.
Well, then you need to come to Ohio because
the sacred training ground for demons.
No, yeah, for real. There's old German cemeteries. So when the settlers came over from other countries, especially like Germanic countries and some of the Eastern Europe, when they would create a cemetery, they would sacrifice a black dog and bury it on the outside of the cemetery. And that would have to be the first thing that was buried in the cemetery. And it would be the guardian of all the spirits. So that's where we see a lot. And I've seen, cemeteries. I haven't seen a black dog there. I saw it somewhere else in a building here in Toledo. But
a spiritual black dog, not like a lab that got away. Not like someone's pooch.
Hellhound.
Yeah, hellhound. Okay.
Hellhound.
Just making sure you didn't see like a well-trained, off the leash sort of friendly guy.
No, what I saw was here at a place called the Collingwood Art Center. This used to be a mansion, and then they built a convent on the back of it, and it's like 5-story high, and it's huge. Super haunted. I saw something more from the shape of a dog into something else and like go up the side of the wall.
Kind of like a spider dog, climbing up the wall. Like
it morphed from a dog figure, shadowed like black. No, I couldn't see any eyes. It was in the shape of a dog, morphed, and then crawled up the wall.
I don't like that mental image.
Sounds really scary, but also does sound kind of sick.
That freaked me out for a long, long, long time. Yeah. I could not reconcile in my mind what I saw, and I'm like, I'm going crazy. Did I see that? But I saw.
You didn't chase it down when you saw it come out of the wall? You didn't scamper
after
it?
Fido. Come here. You're coming home with me. You're going to protect my house.
I sometimes semi-jokingly, but semi-not jokingly, sort of wonder why no one ever chases after. Like, they'll see a ghost, go into another room, and they're like, I was so scared I stood there. And I'm always like, run in there. Tackle it. Get in there. Make a mess, Do something.
Right? So, I did that one. So, I was at the St. Joseph Hospital. It was very haunted. There was a lot of spirits in there. And so, I had just, with a bunch of other people, seen okay, so I don't know if you guys ever use trigger objects. I use like a lot of music and like sounds as trigger objects. So there was a doctor who studied there, or worked there for years and years and years, like over 60 years. He was an OBGYN. He delivered babies. And so people had said they had seen him. So we're in the labor and delivery ward, and I had my phone, so I started playing a newborn baby crying. And all of a sudden we see this white mist start coming down the hall at us. And then it started getting more defined. And then it morphed into a lab coat, and then it went into the labor and delivery. So I'm like, holy
still on that pager all those years. Still
so
one beep away from getting in that room.
Everybody's like this. So I turn around because I hear something in the room behind me. And I'm like, it was loud. It was like thumping and clanking. And I'm like, I have to go in. I have to. This is my chance, right? It was like, you better lose it. I heard Eminem's song, you better lose your chance. So I'm like, I literally said, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go in. So I go in, and I see these two glowing eyes staring at me. It was a raccoon.
Oh, they're so cute, though. He's got his little hands.
I was like,
maybe he's an OBGYN. Maybe you don't know.
Debunk.
At least you got to see a cute little guy. That's kind of fun.
You followed up. I
appreciate the chasing, because a lot of people bail, and you got to chase.
Nobody would go in. I'm like, I'm going in. I got to see this.
That is like Ghost Binker rule number 1 is you have
get
to
in there.
Go after the ghost that you see.
You should be careful, because if you do that in like a law office, you will get a billable hours statement from that ghost lawyer. He will hit you for it.
Right.
He'll be like, that was 2.5. You were only in there for 1:15, but that's 2.5 billable.
Also, the idea of being a ghost and never clocking
I know,
out,
you got to stop doing your job.
Does not sound great.
I would never work a day in my life if I were a ghost.
I said, I do not want to die in my work shirt. I didn't want to spend eternity in my work company shirt. Like, no.
Yeah. I don't want to die in this
I'll
podcast booth. I can't do it.
Paranormal podcast shirt. Isn't that the worst? Spend eternity in an orange, shirt that said work company. Orange.
What do you think causes certain people to become ghosts and other people just kind of immediately move on? Do you think it's like unfinished business, or is it some sort of predisposition? Like, what do you think?
I think people have the choice to move on to the other plane, or I think they stick around. I'll give you my own experience, like with my boyfriend had died from cancer, and then my dad died 6 months later.
Sorry.
Thank you. It was a long time ago, 6 years ago, but I saw them both in my house. And I think, people come back just to check on you to make sure you're okay before they move on.
Just like killing his
like
mom.
my fucking mother. I asked her not to, so she better not.
I'm taking Mom to the script club. Her and I are going to haunt in our heels. No, but, I just think some people just don't want to leave. Mm-hmm. If that was your home for 50 years or 60 years and, the place you built with your hands or you loved, or maybe you went there, like a janitor doesn't leave the school after he dies. That was his happy place. That was his routine. If they want to stay, they want to stay.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Can kids can become ghosts? You just ask like an 8-year-old. Yeah. He doesn't know. Like, you want to be a ghost? He's like, sure, I don't know. I feel like I hope someone explains it to him fully, is what I'm saying. Because I feel bad he's 6. He's like permanently a ghost. You're like, oh, sorry. Whoops.
What bugs the crap out of me is when people go to haunted locations, and, I use air quotes a lot, and there's ghosts in there, and they want to move them on to the light. Like, little Jimmy died and he's still in the house.
He's having the most fun he's ever had. He
plays with our cat.
He's playing with the hellhounds. He's kicking balls around.
And people will come in and be like, I banished him to the light. And I'm like, did you ask people the permission to do that? Because maybe they wanted little Jimmy to be in there.
Right.
Like these haunted locations. We had places that we've investigated that was pretty haunted. And then people would go in and like, I'm a psychic medium and I send everybody to the light. And then there's no ghost activity and nobody wants to investigate there. And then the people can't.
I feel like I've seen lots
enough
of
money to save their place.
I've seen lots of like anime or shows where like a priest goes in there thinking he's doing good and he tries to banish somebody. He actually makes the demon angrier. So you got to be careful with that too. I do feel like I could banish a ghost, but I would do it. I wouldn't be nice about it at all. So I'd be like, I know I'm making Timmy upset, but I'd be sending him away.
I would.
Your fun's over, bud. You're going to hell.
I would feel bad because I would not want the ghost around first, and then I'd finally get used to it, and then someone comes in and like, yeah, we banished little Timmy, and I'm like, you what? I liked him. I finally got to know him. We finally got along.
Don't ruin it for other ghost hunters. That's what we want to do.
You're anti-banishment. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. Let them be. That's where they want to be.
What if the ghost is like, please banish me? I'm sick of it here. You got to get me.
I think they got free will. I think if they wanted to move on to wherever else they go, we go. I don't even know.
I like your view of that.
You'd think they're never stuck here.
No. I know. I think you can come and go.
I like that. I do feel bad. We talk about like places where the ghost is supposedly like a murder victim. And that feels really shitty to me. Of like you got stabbed, and then you have to be there forever. You like can't move on. Yeah. It's like, man, that sucks. Like not only did some evil person kill me, but he also made me stay here forever. Apparently,
but
like, I like the idea that they can be like, nah, I'm out.
Maybe like can't move on means like I'm still caught up on it. I can't move on until I work through this. Like they're choosing.
They're like my dad thinking about the Red Sox season.
Yeah.
Like we should have won those games.
You gotta let it go.
Team this year. I'm like, Dad, Dad, we don't have the pitching, Dad.
Or like some people, in tragic deaths, maybe they don't know they're.
I could see that.
Able to do that.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't have any kind of background where people taught them.
They never got the Beetlejuice book of death or whatever they have in the movie.
Yeah.
Do you think that ghosts are tied to one single place, or similar to the free will theory, can they move around?
I hope they can, because like I would love to be after I pass to be able to go wherever I want. I want to see like kangaroos, and I don't know if in my lifetime I'll ever get to Australia.
Don't haunt the kangaroos. Don't do that. Don't scare the kangaroos.
I might.
You're scaring a new mother. The baby jumps out of the pouch.
I'll read a book to him. My book to him. But no, it's weird because I think energy. I think some of it maybe part of their essence gets stuck in a residual thing where. You see this little lady going down the steps like she did every day for, 50 years. But maybe part of her also could be in the home with their family. So, where her loved ones are.
Do you think it's possible ghosts could be in two places at once? Could they split these? Ooh.
I think the energy can break up.
That would condense my travels. That would condense my ghost travel schedule quite a bit.
Right?
I could bang out
be at
like
the strip club and at the library at the same time.
And I could finally see Shanghai, and I could get all of Europe done because I'm not that interested in it. So I could get like France and Spain all done in one day.
Absolutely.
So this is one. This is a question that Killian and I butt heads on a lot. I believe that ghosts can control radio waves because they are energy, and so are radio waves.
I don't like that ghosts get a bunch of powers. I think that's bullshit, frankly. And I think that I believe ghosts can do whatever a person can do, but they're a ghost. I think if you were going to be a ghost, you don't get to fucking shoot light out of your eyes and shit. You got to walk around like me.
Do you think that ghosts can control radio waves, and do you have any thoughts on how a spirit box works in that regard?
I think they can use their energy to maybe ride on those waves. Many spirits follow ley lines, railroad tracks, energy fields. It's weird because I live on a ley line. The neighborhood that I live in is one of the most haunted areas in Toledo. I had a psychic medium come here one time because I had the spirit in my house. I didn't know who it was. I'm taking this with a grain of salt, right? They were supposed to be communicating with them and say that the spirits go along these energy lines and they will stop when they are close to places where people may be open to that or feel safe to stop. This particular person was supposedly a young man named Angel, and he stopped here because there were other spirits in the house. supposedly. This is what the psychic told me. But that's interesting is that they're saying that they follow the energy.
I agree with
but
the energy theory of spirits manifesting and all that, and maybe needing a certain amount of energy to show up or to take an action or something like that. And saving
don't make
up
the ghosts into fucking D&D turns, okay? You're like, I do like the lore. I like the idea of a big light beam that ghosts can see that they can ride on. I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I find it like hard to interface with the world where you get different access to it when you pass on. That's like strange to me, So I can't imagine a ghost having to interface with my local rock radio station. And they're just playing the same Nirvana song over and over again, and he's trying to change the station to something else, and they're all just playing the same 2 songs. He's like, damn it, I'm trying to communicate here.
Long live rock and roll, man. Like,
Can ghosts see or interact with ghosts that they are completely unrelated to?
I don't know if they see each other, but I think they sense the energy.
Okay.
Depending on what frequency the energy is. I mean, does a ghost of a Neanderthal understand the ghosts of the 1950s?
Right.
That's a great point.
Person? They might, sense that feeling.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. And why are there no ghosts of Neanderthals trying to communicate with me?
That's a great point.
I want dinosaur ghosts to show up in my backyard.
No, that sounds scary. No. A lot of the ghosts that come up are either recent ghosts where it's like, oh, this is in like the 60s or whatever, or it's like specifically a random time period of American history that is described with like whatever comes to their mind first. They're like, oh, they had like a fucking belt buckle on their hat, and you're like, okay, this ghost is from 1860. I don't think they're wearing pilgrim belt buckle hats. But it's like kind of like, so I am curious, like when why so many of our ghosts seem to be from like the founding of America. Why is that so important to our ghost mythology?
I don't know, because
it's just the oldest thing we can think of.
Native Americans in Ohio for 20,000 plus years.
Yeah.
Do you think that ghosts can grow up? If we had like a child ghost, would they age at some point, or
can they age? Can they go back and forth?
Can they choose the age they appear as? These are all things that we've pondered about ghost appearances.
Okay, so I had a dream one time that I was my perfect self. I was the weight I wanted to be at. I was in the outfit that I loved the most. I was like around the age 30. I think, the spirits, and I've heard people tell me, like so-and-so died, and then they came to me as, when they died when they were little, and they came to me as a young adult. And the people would get to see them age progressed, I guess you could say. So I don't know. I don't know. I think they can.
Yeah.
Maybe appear how people want to see them. Maybe a mother wanted to see her son grow up and knew he never would be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe because like there are the ghosts that show up kind of like haggard or like really ripped apart. Maybe they do manifest how they want to be perceived, and maybe they want people to remember what happened to them, or like you said, like maybe they wanted to show up grown up so their mom could see what they look like. I like that theory.
I would come back as a kid to scare people extra, because people are really scared.
People are scared of the kid ghosts.
They have bad vibes.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think that ghosts can learn new things or like new information, or do you think they just kind of exist as they died and that's all the information that they'll ever have?
I don't think so. I think that we're continuously learning. I think, once we go on, there's a great journey.
I could teach a ghost like a basketball Euro step. I could like deepen his game.
I can't learn my lessons here on Earth, right? Like I'm 54. There's lessons I've never learned. I still date the player.
I genuinely like that. I much prefer that to ghosts being stuck.
I'd be hanging out at college campuses, just taking every class I could.
I'd be in the strip club.
Yeah. I'd be learning stuff in there, I tell you. I'd be learning new things.
Pole tricks. I'm like, what's this?
Yeah, that's one.
I didn't know somebody could hang upside down like that, frankly.
The last question, this is probably the dumbest one of them all.
Do you think if a ghost hunter became a ghost, would they continue hunting ghosts?
That's a good question.
It's like cheating, isn't it?
Yeah,
found
definitely. Because like if I became a ghost, because if I became a ghost, I am seeking out like Marilyn Monroe or, some of my idols like Prince, like, hey, Prince goes, play me a song, write that song.
It sounds like the answer is yes. But that is it for our Ghoulish questions. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Jennifer. Hopefully,
I appreciate it.
Hopefully, Ohio is on my list of places that I need to go. I want to go to every single state in America. I have not been to Ohio yet, so if we head out there, we'll let you know. And I think in one of the episodes that I listened to, you mentioned not being out to Plymouth yet, or Massachusetts in general.
Right. Mm-hmm. We have not been to the East Coast. It's one place that we have not been to, and I am dying to get out.
It's very old and very spooky.
Yeah, if you make your way out here, feel free to reach out, and maybe we can have our first ghost hunt under your wing or something like that.
All the ghosts are pilgrims.
No, come to Ohio. We have everything here. If you want to go to a sacred mound or a haunted prison, or we have headless horsemen, headless horsewomen, 1.5 million haunted crybaby bridges.
I would love to do like amusement park, Bigfoot hunt, headless horsewoman, finish with a ghost, back to the amusement park. 5 days, one by one.
That does sound pretty awesome.
You can do it all in Ohio. We have every one of those.
It's the itinerary.
Great. Well, you guys, I really, really, really appreciate you having me on. And good luck with your podcast.
Thank you.
I love what you guys are doing. I think it's unique and fresh and interesting and thought-provoking. So keep it up.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Before you go, is there anything you want to plug specifically?
Yeah. So guys, to all your listeners, thank you for listening. If you're interested in any of my books, they're all on Amazon. I have books on, Ghosts of the Underground Railroad, Ohio, The Haunt of It All, haunted asylums, haunted libraries. There's about 15 books and some other books non-ghost related. But you can check those out on Amazon. You can also go to our website, which is 222paranormal.com, or you can check out the podcast in any place that you get your podcast. You can get a hold of us. We're also on all the social media outlets. So check us out.
Awesome. Yeah. So when everyone's done listening to this, they can head over to that, and I'll put links in our episode description too, so they can check those out. But thank you so much. We're acquainted now, so feel free to reach out anytime. We'll reach out to you, and I
want to have you on the show so I can pick your brains.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to be on. It was great talking with you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye, Jennifer.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Ghost Binkers. I know it's not exactly what we normally do, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. Did you know that at ghostbinkers.com you can do all the Ghost Binkers things? That means following us on TikTok and Instagram at Ghost Binkers. There's video clips and behind the scenes over there that you can enjoy. You can email us, ghostbinkers@gmail.com, and we really need you to share a story with us or request a topic. Argue with us, just chat. We just want to talk to you. So reach out there. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and it does have to be 5 stars. Otherwise, as we all know, bad things happen to me if it's less than 5 stars. And you can share the show with a couple of friends really easily just by sending them that ghostbinkers.com link. It's your one-stop shop. Thank you to Jennifer for coming on the show. We had a great time talking to her and look forward to the next time we do. I will be linking her stuff in the Ghouly Bites, and that is it for this episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
I was going to say, also, speaking of giant skeletons, I've seen like a couple of Trev's neighbors have giant skeletons up, standing there, looming over everything. So maybe the Native Americans had really tacky Halloween skeletons up and they buried them.
I have a neighbor who, I love it. They have their Halloween
I do not love it.
They have their Halloween decorations up pretty much year long, except for the fact that they take it down in July,
like
for some reason.
mid-July to mid-September it gets taken. So at that point, I'm of the mind that you should just leave it up the whole time. Because you've gone so far, you've come so close to doing the whole year. To back out at the last moment, it's like weaker than just taking it down in November when you should have taken it down.
Right, you got to be fully committed year round if you're into that stuff.
My mom,
you could be like the goose, and they just change the clothes on the skeleton.
Yeah, well, some people do like they do like the Grinch which is horrifying because you have this like stretched green skin over this gigantic thing. My mother, we have to like pin her down and sedate her to take the Christmas tree down. She has the Christmas tree up, and she wants that thing on in June, and we gotta be like, you gotta put it away, Lori, you gotta put this thing away, and she just refuses to let it go.